Community School Corporation will meet in regular session at 7 p.m. on October 15, 2019 at the Lebanon High School in the Herman B. Wells Community Center. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business, and as is not intended or considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated on the agenda. Visitors requesting permission to address the board. Visitors requesting permission to address the board on a specific agenda item should sign in before the meeting starts on a form at the board table. The board requests a discussion time limit of 3 minutes on any specific agenda item, and we ask that visitors to make only one appearance per item. We ask those addressing the board to speak from the podium and state their name and address. Board Policy 0167.3 dictates that personnel issues will not be addressed. Concerns about individual employees of the district should be brought to the superintendent or designee. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation central office. It's customary for us to begin before we gavel in prayer. Mr. Bertrand?
Sure. Dear Lord, please be with us tonight as we make decisions for the Lebanon Community School Corporation. Please be with all of our families in this corporation as next week we start fall break. We have several that will be traveling. Please be with them in their travels. Please be with the farmers as they're out and about getting in the crops. Please pay special attention to them and the people behind them. Every year we hear about some fatalities or accidents, and just please make those people aware. And as always, please be with all those serving and protecting us for our freedoms. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. The Board of Trustees respectfully request those guests and visitors in attendance to be courteous and silence their cell phones. Thank you. Call to order. Pledge allegiance. Mr. Hurt?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. We do have a quorum present. Mrs. Hutchinson is on personal travels and is absent, excused. Mr. Herr, mission statement.
The Lebanon Community School Corporation will cultivate and reach every student by influencing and enriching their lives through the power of education, and do so in a positive and safe learning environment.
Dr. Millman, Superintendent, announcements and celebrations.
Thank you, President Wiry. We have several announcements and celebrations this evening. First off, we'd like to congratulate Lebanon High School teacher Greg Hudspeth, who was awarded a $500 MAC grant from McDonald's yesterday. This grant is designed to support development of personal finance and business skills. Mr. Hudspeth plans to use the grant toward a personal budget challenge activity for his students. Our Lebanon Middle School students recently returned safely from their annual 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., and I know we enjoyed seeing some of their posts. They obviously were honored as well to be able to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. I think also visit Gettysburg battlefield. So a very educational and worthwhile trip. We thank Mr. Polston and all the staff members and Mr. Dunshee, who accompanied the students this time as well on the trip. So well done, everyone, and we're glad to be able to provide that opportunity. A team of Harney Elementary staff recently participated in the Women Build for Habitat in Boone County. Not only did they assist with wiring and soffits and vents and all other building activities, but they also raised $2,100 for the Habitat for Humanity build. So we'd like to congratulate Andrea Yoder, Susie Boyette, Pam Davis, Candy Ballinger, Kirkland Walker, Bailey Williams, and Maddie McClure for being part of that and representing Lebanon Community Schools in that worthwhile project. The third annual Harney PTO Fall Carnival was a success this past week as well. We thank the staff and volunteers from our Freedom Church that partner with us, and Teen Challenge, who helped pull off that event. Harney PE teacher Tracy Hamill organized another fun run in the park. I think I could hear the kids from my house, actually. I think I actually ran by your kids on my weekend jog when they were doing that. It's great to see all the students out there. Running Club has about 100 participants. 75 students joined the fun run, so it was great to have the students in that physical activity. And the Hattie B. Stokes staff would like to publicly thank all of the other 5 schools, central office administration, as well as the community for their help and support during the, of course, unexpected tragic loss of their staff member recently. And so thanks the board for all of their kind words and support as well. And a couple late entries here this evening reminded me that we need to congratulate our boys cross-country team. First time in our history, the team has advanced to the regional level, so congratulations to them. And 4 of our female runners in the girls cross-country team have advanced to regional as well, and we wish them luck in regional. I think we have volleyball sectional going on this weekend still, and am I leaving any sports out, Mr. O'Rourke? I think that's it. I think that's still, those are the ones still going at it. So that's it for announcements and celebrations.
Thank you very much. Need to get approval of minutes for the September 17th, 2019 regular meeting and the October 9th, 2019 special session. Can I get a motion? Mr. Bertrand, second?
A second.
Mr. Hurd? Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Same sign for opposed. Motion carries. Audience to visitors. We have 1, Mrs. Turner.
Turner. I live at 920 Morningside. I notice on here, I guess I'm supposed to only address about things that are on the agenda, and I just wanted to have a word about that property that is going up for sale, real quick, if I could.
It's on the agenda this evening.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the
Under number
recap
12.
it's the last item. It's fine. You're fine.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that I saw the announcement about the meeting where there were presenters going to talk about development, and I saw it on the front page of the Lebanon Reporter. And I hope that that's because the board made an effort to get information out about what's going on, and I just wanted to say I really appreciate that. And I just hope that going forward, we can have a little bit better relationship than we did with the Lennar project, and hope to keep updated about what the plans are going forward. And that's just all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Employee of the month, Dr. Millman.
Thank you, President Wyrie. Our Employee of the Month this month works directly with Mr. Tate in his office, so I'm going to defer the announcement of the Employee of the Month to Mr. Tate.
All those in favor?
I'd ask Brittany Robbins to join me. Brittany works in the central office as accounts payable, receivables. She's our payroll backup. She's our ECA claims backup. She has a accounting degree and serves in many roles. I can use many adjectives to describe her work and her work ethic. She's self-motivated. She learns quickly. She wants to do the right thing. She's not afraid to challenge me, which I like and appreciate. A couple things I remember in particular is when I interviewed her, you always ask them, why do you want to work here? When the interview was almost done and I said, do you have any questions for me? She goes, why should I come here and work? That's why she got the job. She has that initiative, she has the go-get-em spirit. And she's respected by all, she's helpful all the time, she's very considerate of other people. She's just a real asset to Lebanon Community Schools. So present to you the Tiger Pride champion for Lebanon Schools. Jennifer wants a picture.
introduce your guests as well.
Oh, okay. So I brought my big family, my fiance and our 4 kids. My daughter is not here because she had to work. And then my dad and my stepmom. So I brought them because they're a big part of my life and they support me. So I just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate this. Everybody works good together at the office, and I think that's what brings out the best in all of us. It came as a big surprise to me. It was very unexpected. So I didn't expect it at all. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Brittany's had a rough day.
Oh, yeah.
She woke up to a flat tire, to another car that wouldn't start,
And I lost the earring.
and lost an earring.
Oh.
Three bad things to start the day.
That's why I arrived like a half hour early, because I was afraid something was going to happen.
Of all those, the earring is the worst, man.
So what the nail?
Yeah. Okay. Consent agenda for routine business matters. Mr. Tate.
Yes, my pleasure to report to the board and the community this evening our financial report. As of September 30th, we have these percents expended. Education fund at 68.58%, operations fund at 67.64%. At this time, I'd ask for approval of claims numbered 49497 through 49745. The payrolls dated September 20th and October 4th of 2019. The claims total $1,866,214.76. The payrolls total $1,611,136.66 for a total of $3,477,351.42. Ask approval of the claims and the payroll at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tate. Hearing that, we need a motion to approve claims for payment, 49497 to 49745, and payrolls for September 20th of 19 and October 4th of 19.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Herr,
I'll second.
Mrs. Keith, any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Agenda for routine staff matters. Dr. Millman.
Thank you, President Wyrie. Before I present the routine staff matters, I just want to make sure the board understood Mr. Tate as well when he introduced Brittany. He likes being challenged.
Oh,
I
I did
think
hear
he's
that.
on the record, and for the benefit of all the administrators in the office,
We
in
need
the
to make sure
audience,
that's in the minutes.
we'll make sure that we get that part of the official record this evening. So, thank you for that, Mr. Tate. That's good information for all of us. For staff matters this evening, we do have 2 food service positions for your consideration, 4 custodial positions as well. And we do have several coaching positions under item 6B this evening. Just a reminder that many of these coaches were already approved at earlier meetings to the positions. This is approving them now to perform the duties of coach in this upcoming season, which is a routine here of the school board. So Amanda Scoble is recommending approval of coaching staffs for the upcoming season for boys basketball, wrestling, swimming and diving, and cheerleading. You will see a list of coaches in your background notes from Mr. Levine for the high school, recommending approval for upcoming season coaching staffs for boys basketball, girls basketball, wrestling, swimming, and cheerleading. Becky Outcall is recommending ECA positions this evening for Central Elementary for the academic coordinator position. Jessica Frederick and Kim Larman sharing that position, and Central Student Council, which is Kim Larman and Haley Mishler for that position. Mr. Dunshee is recommending Reagan Davis as an assistant coach for the Cubettes dance team, and that position will be split with Felicity DeCamp. And so I submit those for your consideration this evening.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda for routine staff matters A and B for classified and ECA positions.
Make that motion.
Mr. Bertrand, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Keith. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. I guess this is Doyle. On the sixth grade boys basketball team, there's two ladies that's going to be monitored.
Those are two additional. Eric Williams was previously approved.
Right.
He'll be in the locker room.
Right. My concern is just, females coaching middle school boys.
It's no different than our female sports that have male coaches, as long as we have one on there. So that's why it's a mixed staff. So Eric Williams is the coach on the team as well.
Right. Yeah. I'm just, hoping that it's nothing ever comes.
I can tell
We
you.
always have mixed staff, and whenever we have anybody that's another gender supervising, then we make sure that the male is on staff to help supervise the male
Yeah.
players and the female.
Yeah. All right.
And those girls have coached for Indy Hoops. They've coached those kids,
Uh-huh.
so it's not like nothing new for them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, they're not the only two. They do have three member staff.
Yeah. All right.
Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Request resolution for the 3-year capital projects plan, 5-year bus plan. Mr. Tate, you wanna-
So actually, there's 3 resolutions
Right.
in your background notes there. The first one would be requesting approval for the 3-year capital projects plan, which we've discussed in previous meetings, the 5-year bus replacement plan, which we've also discussed in previous meetings, and then the 2020 budgets for our 5 main funds: education, debt service, operations, rainy day, and referendum. Request approval of all 3 of those resolutions at this time.
Okay, I need to get a motion to approve the 3-year capital projects plan for 2020-2022, the 5-year bus replacement plan for 2020 and 2024, or through 2024, and the 2020 school budget for the education fund, debt service fund, operations fund, rainy day fund, and referendum debt capital fund.
I'll make that motion.
Well, thank you,
What do you
Mrs.
say?
Keith. Can I get a second?
A second.
Mr. Hurd? Any questions? This is the third and final reading.
This will be the last board action, then it'll be submitted to the Department of Local Government Finance for their review and hopefully have a final decision before mid-December.
Okay.
Be the timeline.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Request approval for farm rental agreement. Mr. Tate.
Yes, again, within your background notes is the farm rental agreement that I've drawn up for Will Hoyt Grain Company, the land that they've been farming for the past few years. This contract's based upon the Purdue Agricultural Economics Report for the average estimated cash rent per acre on average quality land is $219 per acre. So requesting approval of next year's lease agreement with Will Hoyt Grain.
And this is the ground behind Mr. Bertrand's, correct? Up
Correct.
by the soccer fields.
That's correct.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the farm rental agreement?
I like it.
Second.
I'll second.
All the, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Public announcement and discussion of a tentative settlement with the LCTA. Dr. Millman.
Thank you, President Wyrie. This is new for school boards in Indiana, as the laws have changed about disclosing the tentative agreement through a discussion and opportunity for public comment. So we're satisfying that new requirement. There'll be some other posting requirements as well that we've already begun complying with posting the tentative agreement. And then after this evening, a period of time passing before we would be asking for your approval of the contract. So I will just go over the components of the contract which have been changed or were addressed with the new agreement. First, this is a 2-year collective bargaining agreement, so this will take us through the 2020-2021 school year. So it's important to make that distinction. This is the second two-year agreement I believe the board has considered for approval. The definition of catastrophic illness was refined to describe catastrophic illness as a serious medical issue or injury requiring hospitalization or recovery under a doctor's care. This is refining the definition for use in our catastrophic illness bank that allows staff members to contribute to that bank and give, if you will, those days to fellow teachers and administrators that may need many days away from work. And so we wanted to refine that language to define that a little bit more specific. Paid leave under the sick leave and personal illness leave will apply to teachers' immediate family. That was an addition. And we defined immediate family, and you can see in your notes the list of immediate family that's listed there. We really just lifted the language that was already in our bereavement leave for immediate family and applied it to sick leave. Again, just refining that definition. The new collective bargaining agreement does include a grievance procedure, which was not included in our current collective bargaining agreement. That was if there is a dispute with the administration of the contract from a teacher. There are steps that we would follow through that grievance procedure, and that has been added into the contract. This contract adds $450,000 to be applied for increases to teachers' base salaries. The exact amount of each teacher's increase will be determined by their 2018-19 evaluation results, which we're still awaiting with some of the legislation that's pending on whether or not hold harmless will be in place for the iLearn test scores and whatnot. So that will guide some of that. In the second year of the contract, $350,000 will be added to the teachers' base salaries as well. That again will be determined by their point system. It's currently in the contract, as well as their evaluation results. A $250 stipend will be provided to teachers in each of the 2 years of the master contract. Stipends will be provided in additional pay in December, which has been done in the past. This agreement does increase the starting salary for a new teacher with 0 years experience, a bachelor's 0 often called, new to Lebanon Community Schools. That starting salary beginning with the 1920 school year will be $40,000, up from the current $38,000. And beginning with the 2021 school year, the base salary for a bachelor's 0 teacher will be $41,500. Extracurricular stipends are increased by 2% per year over the 2 years of the contract. The next step for the board would be consideration of this contract at a special board meeting scheduled currently for November 5th. And Mr. Tate and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, excuse me, on the $450,000 to be applied to the teacher's base salary, you said there could be something with the iLearn. Would that be holding up the teacher's evaluation?
Yes, that's what, it's not, it doesn't exactly affect the amount of raise. It is when it's available. We can't finalize their evaluation until that's resolved. So if you've read probably from the legislature and the State Board of Education, they're still considering how we're supposed to apply the iLearn scores to the teacher's evaluation. Until that gets resolved, we're not going to be able to finalize their 2018, 2019 evaluations to be able to give the folks the increase. So we're
Because
waiting
then,
on that.
didn't the school grade always, that they waited on?
Correct.
Will that affect the teachers too?
Only the timing, again. It's already in the contract that and it's by law, that if a teacher receives a rating below the effective level, improvement necessary or below, they're not eligible for a pay increase. But that school grade and this iLearn issue that we're talking about will affect perhaps will affect whether a teacher is considered highly effective on the evaluation or effective, and there is a monetary difference in their pay increase based on that.
So there's lots of steps to go through. We have to wait for the school grade. Administrations will do evaluations. They'll give me all the evaluations, and I do the calculations of what the pay raise will be per individual teacher. Then we'll issue them new contracts. We'll give them retroactive pay, and then we'll start them on a balanced paycheck from the rest of the school years. So there's a lot of, nothing can be done until we get school grades. As soon as we have those, we'll hit the ground running. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. It's a lot to manage.
Any other questions? Okay. Recommendation for professional design services for 2020 summer projects, Mr. Tate.
Yes, I went out and asked for a request for proposals from 3 different firms, Schmidt, Gibraltar, and STR, for summer projects that we have. And the list of those is in your background. Basically, I have 5 roofing projects that we're looking at and 5 asphalt projects that we're looking at, just above $1,280,000. So the request for proposals, I'm going to recommend STR. We have worked with them before on both asphalt and roofing. I've had good support from them. For $70,790, recommend their services be used.
Okay. I need a recommendation, or I need a motion to approve the STR, the contract for professional design services for the 2020 summer projects.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Hurd? I'll second. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
New business, field trip for approval. Mr. Martin.
Barry Worth would like to take the 90 individuals, of which 70 are students, 16 chaperones, and 4 sponsors, to Camp Tecumseh on May 6th, spending the night, coming home on May 7th.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the Perry Worth 4th grade overnight trip to Camp Tecumseh.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Keith, Mr. Bertrand, second? Yep. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Excuse me. Under other business, we have October 21st through the 25th is fall break. November 5th is a special school board meeting at 8 a.m. at the LCSC Administration Center. And then November 19th is our regular business meeting here in the Herman B. Wells room. Just in time.
Done?
Nope. You could not have timed that any better.
You said, no, it said 7:30.
7:30.
Well, hey. So, discussion. Kind of a recap of our October 9th meeting, special session that we had in regards to the potential land sale, and Mr. Franson here to kind of go through what our next steps. I will tell the audience that we have not received any further communication from the other developers that had met with us initially, but that doesn't mean that we're not stop and continue try to get them in. So with that being said, Mr. Franson, we just kind of recap where it is and where we would go next, how this process would look moving forward.
Well, there is a statutory process that applies to the sale of publicly owned land or school corporation land. We would have to go through that process once you've decided you're ready to sell. And of course, any sale of a property would be conditioned upon the purchaser getting approval for their use. I mean, they're not just going to buy it from you and then hope they can get zoning approval. So any offer you get is going to be conditioned upon them doing their due diligence, which would include zoning approval, surveys, soil inspections, whatever they might need to do to make sure that the project is feasible on the property, because they've done none of that so far. Now, the odds are pretty good that the site is suitable for houses,
but they're not gonna take my word for that. They're gonna wanna do their checking. So we would have to hold a public hearing on the proposal to sell the property, advertise it and all that, and we'll do that when the time is right. You know, you have the questions that were raised at the last public meeting about whether you're gonna list it with a realtor, or whether you're gonna auction it, that's another option, or whether you're gonna keep your eyes open and receive an offer and decide to go ahead and accept it, subject to going through these legal steps. And then hope for the best, obviously, that the project would get approval and that they would then proceed to closing on the purchase. One of the issues that I've sent emails to you about, I mean, there's no secret here, there are some people that would like to see the school board impose restrictions on the use of the property. Density, style of homes, price point, well, as broad as you might think, or as fine and as specific as somebody might want. That's not typical, but it's certainly possible. My recommendation is not to do that. My recommendation is you've said to the city, we would like a project that would be single-family homes only. 2, we would like a project that has a density of no more than, say, 2.5 homes per acre. And 3, we'd like a project that has a price points of between $250 and $3.25. I mean, I'm just throwing out numbers, but I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing. And then after that, we're gonna leave it up to the city to work with the developer to do all the oversight, restrictions, regulations, and decide whether there's other things that go into this, and the city would hopefully be able to come to an agreement with the developer, and that the plan commission and the city council would go along, because it would require a rezoning. The property is currently zoned institutional. It's been that way since the city rezoned all of the land several years ago when they did a new zoning ordinance. And they changed it from SF2, no, at that time it was called R2. It's a residential zoning class, R2. To change it to institutional. Now, there are some people that would like to see us just go back to a SF2 zoning, which is the equivalent of what R2 used to be. And that's certainly possible. We could ask, but an R2 zoning district would allow 4.8 homes per acre as a matter of right. Well, I don't think that's what they want. I mean, they surely don't want that. If they think 2.5 homes per acre is too dense, they sure as hell aren't gonna, they aren't gonna like 5 homes per acre. So, you know, and even SF1, which is the higher end home category in Lebanon, allows, it's 3 something per acre. So that's not, in my opinion, a very feasible approach, because the problem is if it's zoned for that, a developer goes in and says, I want to put 200 homes on this 80 acres. They meet the density. They don't need any variances. There is no remonstrance. The city cannot not approve it. They have to approve it. Now, I don't think this particular developer wants to do that. I think they want to design a planned unit development that would allow them some flexibility on things like side setbacks. I mean, there's no secret here. They'd like to have tighter lots, nicer homes on smaller lots. That's apparently the modern approach to home building. I don't know. That's not my expertise. But they're the ones who sell them, and they seem to think that's what people want. It used to be, as you know, people wanted a big lot, big yard, brick house. That was kind of their idea. That's what you have out there. Morningside and John Bart Road and Fordyce Road are essentially 1960s homes built on larger lots, bigger yards, farther apart, brick ranch homes. Well, those homes aren't worth what these homes are selling for. That's the problem. The buying public would rather have a house on a smaller lot, maybe less brick, but maybe a big screen TV, a great room, things that in the 60s no one even thought about. So I don't know the answer to these questions, but they're apparently still interested. I guess they haven't left town and they're not coming back, have they, Dr. Millman? So far, they're still interested.
I think, yeah.
So, you know, if you all are ready to do this, and we leave it up to the city planning authorities to decide the details of the project, you know, hardy plank versus this or that, side yard setbacks, how many car garages are allowed, how much open space, all those details that frankly this board is not particularly familiar with and not typically in the business of drafting a zoning ordinance that then a developer would have to live with. That's why we have the plan commission, we have a planning department, we have a city council, all of whom would have to approve this project. So I'm sure there's going to be unhappy people if the project moves forward. Some of them are unhappy because they don't want anything on the property. There some people, you call them NIMBYs, not in my backyard. That's just human nature. There's people like that. Then there's other people that actually are not a NIMBY, but they want better homes. They want $400,000 homes, $500,000 homes. Okay, I get that. I do too. But is that realistic? I don't know. Lebanon hasn't attracted a whole lot of those in the last decade, and there's no developer proposing to build those kind of homes on that property. Is that a perfect site for $400,000 to $500,000 homes? I don't know. I could argue that it's okay, it might work, and I could argue that it's not the right spot for those kind of homes. I don't know what the answer is. The market will tell you whether it's the right spot for those kind of homes. So I guess I'm rambling again. So that's kind of where I see this being, and if the board's ready to move forward kind of on these terms, then I guess John and Charles and so forth need to start communicating with these people. The contract they've proposed is a letter of intent. It's got some things in it we would have to change. I mean, it's confidential. We can't have any confidential contracts. It's a public body. Everything that we approve would have to be open to public review. You know, so but the sooner we start, I guess the sooner that we start seeing homes on the property, hopefully. And if the neighbors don't want it, if they're opposed sufficiently, that they'll lobby the city not to change the zoning, leave it just like it is, or put restrictions on it that would make it more appealing to them. Have at it. I mean, we don't have any say in that. That's their dog. I mean, that's their fight, not ours. So I guess that's it. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and kind of summarizing that, and that we know that the next step, you know, hopefully, maybe, we will get somebody else that we had talked to that would come so that we can have something to compare and to get more out there. But as of right now, this is the only developer that we have that has showed interest. So thank you for coming in and making it just like right as like you couldn't have got it any better timing. So I appreciate your time on that, Mr. Franson. Any further questions? With hearing none.
I got one.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Chief Smith.
Still at 12:09, we have a report at 9:05. John received some yesterday and today. We are about 50 less than we were this time last year reports.
Good.
I don't know whether that's the enhanced enforcement or that and other things, but we're looking into that as well. We're considerably lower this time than we were.
Good, good. Because you know what today is? I heard on the radio, today is the start of the trial in northern Indiana on those kids that got killed last year. So
Yep.
hope we never have that here. So, all right, thank you.
With hearing nothing, meeting adjourned.
Winner, winner.